Son Doong is the largest cave on our planet. It's so vast that it contains a completely self-sustaining ecosystem, hundreds of meters underground with its own unique climate. The kind of clouds we usually see in the sky, they actually form inside this cave, hidden far below the surface. Son Doong even has a prehistoric rainforest that's never been touched by humans, as well as a vast underground river. From transparent fish to colorful monkeys, over 250 endemic species of plants and animals live in this subterranean world. Just recently, 7 entirely new species were discovered here, found nowhere else on Earth, stretching 9 kilometers in length and holding over 38.5 million cubic meters of space. This cave is so gigantic that a 40-story skyscraper could easily fit inside. Giant stalagmites rise like towers from ancient cities. When you walk inside, you can't help but feel as small as a tiny bug. And yes, rocks that move on their own actually exist here. Son Doong contains phytokarst rocks that shift towards sunlight like semi-living organisms. You'll also find rare formations like cave pearls and other natural marvels. For nearly 3 million years, the world had no idea this cave even existed until its full discovery in 2009 in Vietnam. Since then, visiting Son Doong has been tightly regulated. Individual access is forbidden to protect both visitors and the fragile ecosystem. Only one agency, Oxalis, is authorized to lead expeditions to this incredible cave. We hike through the dense jungle for 9 hours before reaching the entrance. But before we could step into Son Doong, we had to pass through another behemoth, Nha-Ke, the world's 3rd largest cave. It's like a gateway to another world. We prepared for everything: deep research, extensive planning before we took our first steps toward the beach inside the cave. The ceiling above was 145 meters high, and the cave's width reached 200 meters. During rainy seasons, the entire area floods. Water levels rise high enough to carry objects like baskets up to the ledges. We stopped for a quick dip in a stunning lake just before dusk. Inside, the sounds of birds echoed. These birds, known as swifts, have weak legs and can't launch from the ground. If they fall, they're unable to take flight again and face certain death. We even came across one, silently awaiting its end. At sunrise, we were finally ready to enter Son Doong itself. If Nha-Ke is a neighborhood, Son Doong is an entire metropolis. As we moved into the darkness, dozens of crickets jumped all around us.
Out the ground.
Ground was layered with centuries of bat guano. Bats slept above, but some were awakened, constantly pooping, so trust us, it's a bad idea to look up. As we passed limestone steps that looked like travertine, we reached the grand entrance. Just a few steps in, you're surrounded by massive cave formations. Rimstone pools formed by mineral-rich water, dripping over time, shimmered in the dim light. Some stalagmites sparkled like diamonds. Others resembled frozen waterfalls, painted bronze with traces of iron and minerals. In the middle, we saw a fault line, caused by tectonic shifts, one of the forces that helped create this cave. We crossed over a fast-flowing underground river. It's so strong you couldn't swim in it if you fell in. Rainwater feeds many rivers here, forming an underground water network. We were stunned to find a sprouted seed in the cave brought in by floodwaters. But without sunlight, it won't survive long. However, mushrooms have started growing thanks to the cave's dark, moist environment. In the Hope and Vision passage, we stood next to the world's tallest stalagmite, rising 80 meters tall. It took around 800,000 years to form. The ceiling above it is 170 meters high. This section is 130 meters wide, big enough to fit a double-decker airplane. We moved forward, passing sand formations that looked like tiny cityscapes. One of our team members stood atop a 60-meter-long stalagmite. We camped 3 kilometers into the cave, next to what looked like the exit, but it wasn't. That light came from the first Deline, a collapsed cave ceiling, and we planned to explore it the next day. On day 2, we crawled through narrow passages to reach it. Inside, we found cave worms using glowing, sticky threads to trap flying insects. The limestone here is over 400 million years old, the oldest in Southeast Asia. Some marine creatures became part of the rock, while others became fossils. Eventually, we reached the first Delinea, 140-meter tall vertical shaft where sunlight enters and life thrives. This shaft formed when water inside the cave eroded the roof, causing it to collapse. Algae, mosses, and even tall trees now grow here. In the second Daleen, we saw something incredibly full rainforest inside the cave. This Daleen is 252 meters above the cave floor, and the sunlight that pours in supports a rich ecosystem. We encountered insects, snakes, and even monkeys. Yes, monkeys that live inside a cave. Biologists have documented over 200 plant species and nearly 60 animal species here. The soil, rich in bat guano, is incredibly fertile. As we moved forward, we came across snail shells cracked open by monkeys. This rainforest inside a cave is so surreal that explorers in 2009 momentarily thought they had found the cave's exit, but this was just the halfway point. On the fourth day, we passed through water-filled corridors and finally reached the Great Wall of Vietnam, towering 80-meter-tall karst wall. Just before that, we traveled through Pastendel Passage, a 600-meter-long flooded tunnel that now appears as a jade-colored lake. After the climb, we saw the light of the cave's true exit from 500 meters away. Yet, one mystery remained. What creature did the fossil we saw belong to? We found that it belonged to an extinct sea creature called Tetracoralia, also known as Rugose coral. This creature vanished 300 million years ago and was likely a carnivorous coral with tentacles, growing up to 10 centimeters in size. Though extinct, we can now imagine what it once looked like. One of many secrets this ancient cave continues to hold. And this brings us to the end of our journey. We've traveled from one end of the largest cave on Earth to the other, witnessing underground rivers, ancient fossils, glowing insects, and even a rainforest below the surface. Subscribe to our channel for more inspiring journeys like this one.